Yeah.
Can I have a quiet word? Is there anybody that could be at home for you?
Why?
It's best that someone else is there.
Eastenders prepares for an hour-long special, marking Lucy Beale's death anniversary with a dramatic episode airing April 17th. Bobby's past resurfaces amidst speculations on Jane's return. Meanwhile, Dean's villainy deepens as he sabotages his daughter's fundraiser, and Phil Mitchell faces devastating news about Ben's prison sentence. Jack Branning faces a life-changing decision as Keanu's body is found. Later this month, an hour-long special on Eastenders will premiere. The drama is scheduled to last for an entire hour. An hour-long special on Eastenders is scheduled to run later this month, on the anniversary of Lucy Beale's passing. Even because live sports have recently necessitated scheduling modifications, it seems that this editorial choice was made rather than being coerced, and we know some specifics about what will happen. A shocked Jay realizes he needs to tell his family some news, the Beales gather to remember Lucy, the fundraiser event takes a dark turn, and Elaine supports a friend in need, is how the episode, which airs on April 17th, is summarized. The fundraiser is a reference to Yolanda Truman and Pastor Clayton's continuing charitable endeavor, in which she has confronted him about his improper treatment of her. As part of the BBC soap opera's 30th anniversary festivities, the devastating announcement of Lucy Beale's killer was made 10 years ago. When the country became engrossed in the whodunit plot, it became evident that Lucy's brother Bobby was responsible for her demise after they had a fight and he hit her with a jewelry box. After Max Branning, Lucy's secret boyfriend, was sentenced to prison for the murder, Ian and Jane Beale learned of his role in the crime. Ian initially convinced Jane to conceal the killing, but he ultimately had to come clean. After Max was released from prison and went on a rampage against the Beales, Bobby was found guilty of the crime. Jane left the soap opera out of concern for the safety of both Max and the Beale children. Given that Bobby, Ian, and Lucy's mother Cindy all back in Albert Square, a lot of fans have theorized that Jane, or possibly Lucy herself, might show up in the special episode. The murder weapon in question, the music box, reappeared in 2023 as part of Cindy's plot, which saw Gina and Anna Knight learn that Cindy was actually their mother, even though they had previously only known her as Rose Knight, George's wife. Cindy was placed under witness protection after providing information about gangster Jackie Ford and establishing a new life and family with George after it was revealed that her notorious murder had been staged. Nevertheless, upon Lucy's passing, she had a breakdown and abandoned the Knights. In the newest nefarious scheme, Dean Wicks of Eastenders embezzles money. He stole from his own daughter's fundraising event. In his most recent Eastenders storyline, Dean Wicks has reached a new low. In an attempt to hide his actions, the villain has been making great efforts to get his daughter Jade ill in order to prevent her from moving to Pakistan with her mother. When Gene Slater found out last week that he had been tampering with Jade's medication, Dean used that information against her as a form of blackmail to force her to leave Walford. Since then, Harvey Monroe has grown resolute in his quest to expose Dean's nefarious activities, which has caused the villain to post a defamatory message about Harvey online. Chelsea Fox was one of the people who spoke highly of Harvey, but she also ultimately offered Dean fresh advice when she suggested he move out with Jade and her mother Shabnam Kazemi. "You had dreams once," she said to him, "now you're just a horrible, pitiful version of yourself. Delete the post before anyone else sees it, and sort your life out, Dean." In Wednesday's, April 3rd episode, Dean decided to remove the note because his strategy had failed, but he wasn't ready to let go of Jade just yet. He concluded that selling his stake in Beale's Eels and moving to Pakistan with Jade would be the greatest way for him to remain close to her. But Dean was incensed that the Beales had rejected their meager £10,000 offer, undermining his demand to be bought out. Rather, Dean made the decision to steal money from his daughter's fundraiser in order to obtain the funds required for his relocation to Pakistan. Dean proceeded to steal the money from Jade's fundraising account covertly, making sure to keep his actions a secret from his daughter. Will Dean's most recent heinous deed be discovered? Phil Mitchell of Eastenders will receive heartbreaking news regarding Ben. There will be a devastating blow to the Mitchell family. Spoilers for Eastenders ahead. In future moments on Eastenders, Phil Mitchell is going to get some heartbreaking news regarding his son Ben. Actor Max Bowden announced Ben's departure from the soap opera, and poignant scenes pertaining to his departure will air next week during the aftermath. His previous visit to America has come back to haunt him in his leaving plot, as the unstable character was detained for credit card fraud. It devastated his loved ones, especially his husband Callum Highway, who had promised to wait for him if he went to prison, to learn that he would be sentenced to prison overseas for the crimes. Ben refused to post bail and was finally deported to the US to answer for his acts, even though he had originally intended to escape with Lexi. Upcoming scenes will see Phil run into George Knight in the boxing den and find out that Ben has been given a 6-year prison sentence. In the midst of his father Eddie's murder trial, George is still in shock over his mother Gloria's heart attack. He talks to Phil, who pushes him to return to the hospital, but he is also dealing with some awful news of his own. As Ben's last moments aired, Bowden, who has already revealed his next project after leaving the serial opera, paid respect to both his character and the people who helped him along the way. He shared the following on Instagram: "Hey, guys, it's that time again. It's been an incredible journey. I'm grateful that you all embraced Ben and accepted my interpretation of him. I learned a great deal about myself and the art I adored during my incredible 5 years at Eastenders. I will always be thankful since it helped me get through some really trying personal moments. I truly can't express how grateful I am to each and every one of you for your support. The show's fans are incredibly devoted, passionate, and kind. I really thank everyone who has offered me encouragement over the past 5 years. It motivates us performers to never stop trying to improve. I love you all," I say to everyone who has supported me. Jack Branning from Eastenders makes a decision that changes his life in an early iPlayer release. At last, Keanu's body was located. Spoilers for this Wednesday's, April 3rd, episode of Eastenders are below. You may watch it right now on BBC iPlayer. Since this episode hasn't yet aired on TV, some viewers may choose to skip the storyline elements in this article. On April 3rd, the show's most recent episode, Jack Branning of Eastenders, made a decision that would change his life upon learning of Keanu's death. In Wednesday's episode, which you can watch on BBC iPlayer, Jack discovered Stacy and Denise smuggling into the closed-down cafe at night and demanded answers. After Keanu's body was buried earlier in the year, Denise needed assistance retrieving her characteristic deed necklace, and Stacy had promised to help. Jack was not having any of it, even if Stacy and Denise were trying to tell him lies, and he threatened to call the police if they didn't tell him the truth. Jack was shocked when Denise was compelled to tell him everything. Jack was first offended that Denise hadn't felt comfortable enough to confide in him while he was still reeling from the news, and he urged that they act appropriately. Jack insisted that Denise and Stacy leave the scene of the crime as there would be no evidence connecting them to it, pointing out that neither of them had killed Keanu. Denise then proceeded to explain about her necklace, which put Jack in an awkward predicament. Determined not to let Denise go to prison, Jack made the risky decision to go after the missing necklace by himself in order to avoid contaminating the crime scene. Jack found the necklace among the debris after chasing Denise and Stacy out, but he had to act quickly as Bernie, who was intoxicated, attempted to break into the cafe. After Bernie's night of drinking with Felix and the Albert, Alfie, who had just returned from his vacation, was stuck with her. Bernie went inside the cafe for a late-night snack, defying Alfie's caution, right as Jack was surreptitiously leaving out the back. When Denise realized Jack had located her necklace, she was relieved, but her happiness was short-lived since Bernie was shocked to find a body beneath the floorboards. Police soon began to circle the square, as Stacy prepared to break the news to the other members of the Six. For them, what now? Please subscribe our channel.